If you haven't been to your neighborhood software store lately, you may not realize there is a new category of software on the shelves. No longer do the signs just say Mac, IBM, 5 1/4, 3 1/2. There is now a CD-ROM section in your software store. Software on CD-ROMs are for real now, with lots of new titles coming out every week. Today we take a look at the new kid on the shelf, CD-ROM software, on this edition of Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles has been made possible in part by PC Connection and Mac Connection, mail-order software and hardware peripherals for the PC and the Macintosh, and the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee, and with me this week is Deborah Ivanoff, a multimedia consultant. Deborah, I think CD-ROM software has arrived when I get these high-tech catalogs in the mail, and there are pages and pages of CD-ROM software titles here. The Bible, magazines, Monarch notes, you name it, it's all here just through mail order. There are so many CD-ROM titles out there now that here is a CD-ROM whose contents are all the CD-ROM titles. And in fact, this just came out. This is the American Business Phone Book. It is the equivalent of 5,000 phone books on one CD-ROM, 9 million businesses, virtually every business in the United States. And if I wanted to, for instance, search for the phone number for the Sony Corporation, it would say, well, there's 99 Sony offices in the United States. Which one do you want? I could obviously refine my search, use the computer. In fact, I can go backwards on this. If I get a phone message, I have the number, but I can't read the message. I don't know who called me. I put in the phone number. It'll tell me what business has that phone number. Pretty powerful use of CD-ROM. What do you have over there on the Mac?
Well, actually, I have something a little different. This would be for you to sit down and work with a child. This is a program called The Silly Noisy House, and it graphics, sounds, something that a child can work through different passages and different places in the house, and lots of surprises for them.
Deborah, people watch this stuff and they say, no, wait a minute, why can't kids just read a book like the good old days? Or what's wrong with print and books and going to the library? Why do we need all the CD-ROM stuff? Is this replacing the printed word, really?
You know, I think that's a concern today. I personally don't believe that it's replacing anything. It's actually broadening the range of experience. I think it's a great way for younger computer users to get used to using the mouse and the keyboard. Also, our children are being raised in a video age, in an age where animation and a lot of visuals coming their way. So it helps with their discernment.
Okay. Well, today we'll look at some of the best examples of new software on CD-ROM, including the new video clip collections using QuickTime. Now, the real growth in CD-ROM software up until now has been in business, where workers need quick access to massive amounts of data. We begin with one good example, the Sabre Travle Information Network run by American Airlines.
With the cost of travel rising, tourist and business travelers want to know more about where they're going. At Carroll Travle in Washington, D.C., travel agent Pat Parrish uses the CD-ROM-based SabreVision to show her clients what to expect.
There's really very little lacking. The languages spoken, the types of rooms they have, the types of facilities. Is there one swimming pool, two? Is it on a beach nearby? It's very specific, really.
SabreVision provides high-quality color photos of hotel exteriors and interiors. It also shows maps with directions on how to get to the hotel. You can even zoom out to see that location in a larger context. And the beauty of this CD-ROM system is you don't have to be a computer expert to know how to use it.
I have no idea what's inside a computer. I don't even want to know. It's not my field. I just know what the tool is and how I use it and how it applies to my clients, which is what's important to me.
What's important to any travel agent is that the client feel confident about the agent's recommendations. That's where the resources of the CD-ROM really count.
Often in traveling, there's a high degree of anxiety about, you know, you've seen the movies where somebody books the Grand Plaza and they get there and it's a trailer or something. And so people are concerned that it's really going to be what they think it's going to be. And of course, the most, as they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words, that they can actually then be assured that the place they're going to is going to really be the kind of place that they hope to spend some time in.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Maria Gabriel.
First there was clip art, then there were libraries of digital images, and now there are video clip CD-ROMs. Here to show us that and more are Josepha Havemann, publisher with Wayzata Technology, and back with us Deborah Ivanoff. Josepha, let's turn to you, and you've got two things you've created you're going to show us here on CD-ROM. One is the Gaia Environment Resource, and then we've heard an awful lot about the space, time, and art. We've got Gaia up here first. Tell us what the idea was behind putting this CD-ROM together.
Environment. They're pictures of nature that can be used as clip art in various ways, slideshows, presentations. And there are pictures about the environment and environmental problems, some logging, things
So
like
just to
that.
help really people understand and see these images of the environment, is that the point?
Yes, to help get the word out in these media. in
Well, give
this
us some
environment.
examples of the kind of images you have on this disc.
Okay.
And just
This
tell us
one
what we're seeing as
is
they come up.
endangered birds. We've got pictures of leaves that can be used in many various decorative purposes to enhance any pictures and any material that's about nature. And we've got some landscapes, of course.
So you can sort of index through these in the black and white. Is that what you're doing? Then clicking on one, and you can actually see the color images
That's
in that
right.
category?
That's right. We use HyperCard as an indexing
Right.
medium. And these are seascapes taken along the West Coast. It's all West Coast material.
So, I mean, you're not showing environmental horror scenes, just the opposite in a way. You're showing
the beauty of nature,
beauty of
or what's
nature,
what we
yes, yeah.
have left. But I also have some environmental, specifically environmental
and
problem
these are
pictures.
your photographs?
My video, the digitized from my video.
I see.
Well, and some of the black and white images
Yeah.
are from my own black and white photography. That's right. Here are logging
Yes.
pictures with logging problems. So that's that type of environmental imagery. And then this is there's a set of
Yeah.
pictures here about
And these
recycling.
these would be distributed to schools or environmental groups?
Yeah, they're available for use. Anyone who wants.
All right, let's sort of leave the Earth and go up now into space and take a look at
Okay.
the space, time, and art disc which you've put together.
Yes. All right.
Okay, so we have what
this is-
Voyager's views.
All right, Voyager's views. You just click right on
So
here.
this
from
is
the
literally
menu.
views from the Voyager spacecraft?
Not literally.
Oh.
The Voyager spacecraft imagery is raw. It's pretty rough, and I have added color and I've sharpened them up. And in this case, I've
This
also
is Callisto and
combined
Ganymede.
two of Jupiter's moons here, so that you
But
get more.
this is not, though, artist rendering. This is based on original Voyager photography,
yes,
though?
it's based on original Voyager imagery.
What other examples?
Here is another combination of a couple of moons. And then I have,
What can we look at next?
I lost it.
That's okay.
Here it is, here it is.
Ah, the Jupiter detail, okay.
The detail of Jupiter in the colors that were shown actually by the Hubble telescope
Wow.
recently. And there's one more, the red spot you
Red
must
spot on
must
Jupiter.
see. Yeah.
Okay.
But the
yeah.
basic planets are all taken by Voyager.
All right, before we finish here, let's take a look at the QuickTime movies you have on here from space. What do they look like?
Okay. We go back to the main menu, and then from there we can access
QuickTime movies.
QuickTime movies.
And what can we look
well,
at here?
what we
in
have here
animation?
is some animations from the same kind of imagery that I animated these in Photoshop. Each frame is a
Okay,
Photoshop
and this is the
image.
birth of the Earth.
Yeah, right. It's called Earth Birth.
Earth birth?
And another one I'd like to show you is
Yeah.
called Going Nova.
Okay. Going Nova.
Yeah. I'd like for more people to see what might be happening out there in the universe. Although no matter how fantastic we get, I think it's always going to be an understatement
Right,
of
right,
what's
that's for
really
sure.
out there.
Well, that's terrific. How many images altogether are on the space-time and art disc?
Over 300 of various kinds. Now I have a space fantasy imagery that we haven't looked at.
Yeah, well, we don't have time, I'm
That's
afraid,
too
for the
bad.
fantasy. All right, Deborah, let's turn to
Yeah.
you. And you're going to show us two new CD-ROMs, and the first one is the Digital Video Library.
That is correct. This is a wonderful program. Here we see the opening screen, includes information from the file name, the folder it exists in, to the size. This is wonderful for the CD-ROM technology because you can have so many files of such a large size on one CD-ROM. It was designed with System 7 in mind. Using the Balloons Help feature, you can go to just press on anything and it tells you what it is. It also has its own help features under this question mark. Let's go to under file name and let's choose.
Jump in?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
choose a video here.
Okay, cool.
It goes to that video. What you see is an opening clip.
Right.
You see some keywords, just like on a tape recorder.
You
You
can
can
just
adjust
roll
that,
that
and
little
yeah,
insert.
and it plays it.
Wow.
There's another way to find some things. You can use the find feature. It'll
Okay.
choose a word for you. You can type in the word,
So find
hit
any
return.
clip that's about bicycles.
Right, and it just goes to the first one alphabetically that has bicycle in its keywords.
And you
Let's
can
play this
roll it
one.
and take a look at it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a third way of finding anything. In case you don't, maybe you're interested in bicycles, you just, under the keywords, you'd go ahead and click back on that word bicycle, and it'll take you to the next one. Here's one called bike race.
Uh-huh.
Finally, you can copy anything you'd like to your hard drive.
So if
to
I find a
use-
video clip I like, I can sort of keep it and copy it.
Yes, and you can use it then in an interactive video type program. You can also save it as a startup movie instead of a
Right.
startup screen, which is kind of fun.
And Deborah, show us this second disc from EduCorp called the Dictionary of the Living World.
Sure, Stuart. This is a wonderful information piece, an educational piece for really children and adults of all ages. It's very intuitive. It answers questions about the different buttons. It takes you to a self-help panel. I'm going to go straight into choosing a term or an animal.
So just say, tell me something about goats.
Exactly.
And there it is.
And it loads a picture of what the goat, you can refer to its family. It tells you some things about the other orders. You can click on this little globe, which is a distribution map, which is going to show us a distribution of that particular family
Where the goats
over.
will be.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
We can get a sound in there. Kids love this
The
kind of
noises of
thing.
goats?
Sure, sure, exactly. We can also, quite a few of these have animations
So
and
we have
movies
video clips in
included.
here
Exactly,
also.
video clips, some animations, real nice. And this is going to show us another member of this same family.
Okay.
So you can get an idea of the
Okay,
range.
so actually when you called up goat, it gave you this category of bison, sheep,
Yes, it
cattle,
did.
goats, etc.
I could select goat again. It would go to another place in the dictionary where goats might
Okay.
follow again.
And it keeps on sort of making goat noises for us. While
Well, yes, it does. While it's loading that movie,
And
isn't
there-
that
okay,
nice?
that's
And
the
there's
clip of
another
the
member of
bison.
that same family.
That's
You can see the
terrific.
movement. So someone could get an idea
Yeah.
that's cloven, it's hoofed.
One question before we leave this, Josefa, I mean, one of the criticisms of the CD-ROMs, of course, it's kind of slower access time than a hard drive. We have 200 megabyte hard drives these days. What's the advantage of the CD-ROM?
Storage space, 500 megs. They're light, they're small, but to use them, it's usually best to transfer the files you're going to be working with to your hard drive, and it's quicker access, so that slowness doesn't really matter.
So really think of the CD-ROM as a storage device, not an operational program you're going to play
Yes,
with.
par
Yeah.
excellence.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, CD-ROM technology has become a great asset to scientists who need to study massive amounts of numerical and graphical data. At the U.S. Geological Survey in Reston, Virginia, they are transferring all their data to CD-ROMs.
From the ocean floor to outer space and everything in between, the U.S. Geological Survey collects and studies data on the environment, weather, natural disasters, and endless other natural phenomena. The work of the scientists here creates enormous amounts of information in the form of photographs, numbers, and words. So while most of us are happy to be able to access a CD-ROM database, these scientists are creating them.
We now have a medium where you can actually write on a CD-ROM, where you can make a couple of copies of something that was on tape and you don't want to lose it, or as data come in from the field and tape, they can be transferred to the CD-ROM, if for no other reason, for random access. Tapes are sequential. If something's at the end of the tape, you've got to read through it and find it. With CD-ROM, you can go anywhere on it.
The ability to quickly access data is one major feature of the CD-ROM. But using optical storage also speeds up the process of getting data into the hands of users.
When we were putting out paper atlases, we found that it can take us, just the publication part of the process can take us almost 2 years to get the atlases printed. The CD-ROM, on the other hand, we can do in a matter of months.
The other major advantage of using CD-ROM as a distribution medium is that the scientific data can now be accessed by many more researchers who only need a low-cost personal computer to read the data.
It's made the data available to a very, very large number of users who previously had no ability at all to get a system that could manipulate the data.
The result of wider distribution of scientific data has actually made the underlying research more valuable.
Most scientists think the 5 people who already have the data are their audience. And it goes out on CD-ROMs, and thousands of people want these data because they find other uses for them that they never anticipated.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Maria Gabriel.
The PC platform has matured as a multimedia environment, and many of the new CD-ROM products are now coming out for the IBM-compatible world. Here to show us more CD-ROM software is Joanna Gibbs of Viva 2000, and also with us Larry Schiller from the Bureau of Electronic Publishing. Larry, in the last segment we saw CD-ROM drives plugged into a Macintosh, and now we have a CD-ROM drive in a 486 PC. Do we have the same problem with CD-ROM software as you do with magnetic software? I mean, there are Mac disks and there are PC disks?
Most disks play on a Macintosh and not on a PC and vice versa.
Yeah.
But there is increasingly a set of disks, and the Bureau's titles all now play on both platforms, and we hope that we'll be seeing that with other publishers.
So everything
as well.
is on the disk. You don't have to worry about where the software is
No
going to sit.
floppy needed at all.
Great. All right, Joanna, let's turn to your program, and you're taking advantage of CD-ROM technology to teach a foreign language, French, for example, here. What's the benefit to you in a program like this in using the CD-ROM rather than just magnetic software?
Well, the benefit is the digitized audio, which allows you to listen to the words and practice speaking. And this is the feature of the game that...
Okay, so this is the French program you have up here. And show us how you do that. I mean, how do you get the program to talk and pronounce the words for you, and how do you learn from this?
All right, well, let's go to scene 1 here.
Okay.
Right, my name in here, sorry, in there.
So you put, I mean, I take it it remembers who you are then and knows what your progress is in the game when you do
Right,
that?
you can keep score.
Okay, so we have a sentence in English. What do we have to do?
You have a native sentence at the top of the screen with 5 highlighted fragments.
Okay.
You select the corresponding foreign fragment in the random menu in the center.
So I
Bonjour.
Okay.
You click and the computer speaks. You go to the next one.
Oh, I see.
My
so we
name.
take a segment of the sentence at a time.
Yes,
Okay, so now what's French for my name is what it's
My
asking
name
us,
is,
right?
Je m'appelle.
Je m'appelle.
The third fragment, I am.
Je suis.
You're looking for on vacation.
Pour ces vacances.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, here we go.
Pour 2 semaines.
What happens when you make a mistake, Joanna?
When you make a mistake, we don't show it to you down here. The program actually challenges you to search, discover, and learn. And you remember your answers when you have to work for them. If you don't, if you make the incorrect selection, it doesn't appear down here. You have to go back and you have to keep working until you find it. It's like a puzzle. You have to work for it.
Okay.
And that's your reward. It's positive reinforcement at its best.
What are the other parts of Viva 2000 French?
Let me go on to the next one here. I am.
Je suis. À l'aéroport.
All right, now, if you click on the right side of the mouse,
Avec.
you just can listen to
Avec.
the word as many times as you wish until you get the
Avec.
pronunciation correct. By pressing on the left side of the mouse, you
Avec.
actually place it in the sentence, your foreign sentence, which is building below. With my whole family.
Toute ma famille.
So you really get to learn
Aujourd'hui.
the language, you get to learn the words, the dictionary, et cetera. You learn the pronunciation as
Yes,
you go.
you learn the pronunciation and the grammar and the conjugation is all built in with it's disguised without our
Is this meant as a standalone? I mean, I buy this, sit down to learn French, or is it meant to be used in a classroom situation with a teacher, with a book? How?
It's either way. It can be used in the classroom. It can be used. It's for all users, home users, school users.
And do you have discs in other languages besides the French?
Yes, we do. We have the Spanish. We have Inglés for Spanish people to learn English, and we have Anglais, French for French people to learn English.
Oh, that's great. All right, Larry, let's turn to you now and the new discs you have at the Bureau of Electronic Publishing. There are 3 CD-ROMs I want you to show us, and the first one is really weird in a way. It's Monarch Notes, which is all those Monarch Notes books that you see in that wire rack in the college bookstore, all on one CD-ROM, right?
It's the complete set of Monarch Notes, the
So
full
you sort of
text.
buy this one disc when you're a freshman, that's it for 4 years.
All you need.
All right, show us
Teacher's horror.
Show us what's on there.
Sure. Well, let's take a look at, you'll see there's a lot of authors here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at H.G. Wells and the War of the Worlds. There's book 1 and book 2 of this. And I'm going to bring up actually a quote that we have on here from George Kennedy, who's one of the actors who is doing a speaking part.
A sudden chill came over me.
So it's more than Monarch Notes the books. I mean, you can actually hear some of the lines from these stories.
Yes, we have many passages spoken, well-known passages, and there are hundreds of illustrations, many in color as well.
Okay, let's move to the next tier. Suppose I'm not happy with Monarch Notes and I didn't get away with it, let's put it that way. I really want to read the full text. I guess you have another one here, which is the Works of Great Literature. I'll help you slip that in there. If you can tell me what the Great Lit CD-ROM is about.
Great Literature contains the full text, again, of 943 great literary works containing illustrations, hundreds of illustrations, excerpts from music, which is based on the works themselves, and as well as passages, again, spoken by well-known actors.
So this is full text, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of classic books.
Absolutely. Let's bring it up by author again and take a look at what we've got here.
So if I want to look up Shakespeare or something.
Sure. Let's bring up Shakespeare and take a look at, well, we've got a quote from Julius Caesar in here.
And once again, you have audio.
Yes, we do.
So I could hear a scene from Julius Caesar.
Yes. Here's the famous Brutus is an honorable man.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Now, how would you see people using this? I mean, I'm not going to read Shakespeare on the screen, I assume. As a research tool, I take it?
It's a research tool. It's very good for students to use to research information for their English class. It's good for homework, research, and parents and adults like having the disc because many times that they'll hear references to things that to books that they don't have, and this disc has so much information it allows them.
Can I pop this out and get the next one?
Sure.
I want to take a look at.
Let me exit out of this.
Which is Countries of the World, it says, and tell me what this one is about.
Countries Encyclopedia, Countries of the World, is a cultural encyclopedia which lists. I'm going to just exit out of this briefly here and get back into it, which lists hundreds of pages of information for every country in the world, detailing its history, culture, and economy.
Okay, so suppose I want to know something about Japan. I'm concerned about how to deal with the Japanese.
Good, let's go to Asia and bring up Japan. This is useful for several markets. Let's look at what the business person might look at this for. National negotiating styles. We've got it for many countries. And here's a section on Japan. The highest calling for a Japanese youth still is to become a government official. Let's take a look at a table that contrasts Japanese and American negotiating
so this is pretty
styles
deep,
here.
rich stuff here. It's not just the geography, the mountains, the cities, blah, blah, blah.
No, it's not. There's a great deal. Although we do have all that, there are literally, there's 60,000 screenfuls of text on this disc.
All right, Joanna was teaching us French before, so let's go to France here. If I wanted to find out about France, how would I do that?
Sure. Let's take a look. Let's actually browse for a landmark in France, the Eiffel Tower. We can do that with our word searching here, and we've got 6 articles dealing with it.
Tourism in France. Pictures of it?
Sure, I think we've got that in here. Here's a picture of the Eiffel
Now, the other thing, I mean, you have real CD audio on here too, don't you?
That's right.
So if I wanted to hear the Marseillaise, the French national anthem?
Let's bring that up as well. We have excerpts from all the national anthems, and France is no exception to that. So let's bring that up and hear that. That's pretty neat.
And I see you get the map of France, the flag of France, etc.
We'll bring that up. The maps, by the way, are licensed from Hammond. They're very high quality 4-color maps. And we do have
All right,
flags.
thank you both very much. Well, I hope we have convinced you to add a CD-ROM drive to your computer. That's it for our look at CD-ROM software. Computer news of the week coming up next on Random Access.
In the Random Access file this week, this is a special summer edition with the focus on software. The top 10 selling software titles last week for the Macintosh, according to Mac Connection, include Microsoft Excel 4.0 version upgrade in the #1 spot. And rounding out the top 10 are Symantec SAM and 5th generation Suitcase 2.1. Next up, Paul Schindler in our summer software review.
There are lots of painting programs on the market. Fractal Design's Painter is different. It's the first one we've seen that tickles the imagination of professionals who've resisted using personal computers as an artistic medium. And it's a lot of fun for the earnest amateur as well. Painter is available for both the Mac and for Windows. It gives you a fairly amazing number of choices in the types of paper, stroke feathering, and fill techniques you can use. The most impressive part of Painter, though, is the variety of its drawing and painting tools. Everything from airbrush and watercolors through such oddities as crayons, charcoal, and chalk. If none of these options satisfies your creative instincts, you can design a brush of your own or emulate famous painters. The refinement of this program is so impressive that you really should try it out with one of Wacom's drawing tablets, like the one I'm using here, instead of a mouse. Drawing on a tablet gives much better control and responds to changes in pressure, something a mouse won't do. Painter costs $300 for its Windows version and $350 for the Mac. Fractal Design is in Aptos, California. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Paul Schindler.
That's it for this week's Computer Chronicles. I'm Janelle Stelson.
Computer Chronicles has been made possible in part by PC Connection and Mac Connection, mail-order software and hardware peripherals for the PC and the Macintosh, and the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy.
Video cassette copies of this program are available. Computer Chronicles also publishes a companion newsletter containing details on products demonstrated, plus background information on program topics. To order a video cassette or a subscription to the newsletter, call 1-800-366-9484 or write Computer Chronicles. Please specify program subject for tapes. All orders include a free software program for auditing software use.